some more recording, please?
I can't finish now.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is being recorded. This is
Yeah,
live
do you
streamed.
want it to be?
Yes,
Yeah, live stream. Yeah.
but in two parts, right? So you stopped the first recording.
Sheikh,
Yes.
where are these being live streamed to?
To Ashford and Staines Community Center YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. You will not very often see me reading from a computer. So next time I will bring the book with me, inshallah. So sorry for this. Okay, so before we start, the book we are going to read is Durusul Balagha. Durusul Balagha, and this is from four scholars at the same time. One is Hifni Nasif, the other one is Sultan Muhammad, the other one is Muhammad Diyar, and Mustafa Tammum. So these are four scholars that work together on this book. So it's Durusul Balagha.
Usul.
Durus.
Durus.
Yes, classes in Balagha.
Okay.
Yeah, classes in Balagha. Okay. So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبعد. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this beginning inshallah beneficial and to make us of those who learn the Arabic language in detail so that we bi'ithnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala can understand the Quran. I'm not going to give an introduction about how important the Quran is, how important the Arabic language is and so forth, because this will take too much time. What we know is that when we study the Arabic language, we are in need of more than one science. One of these sciences is Nahu. And Nahu is grammar. And Nahu, when we study Nahu, then we will focus on the voweling of a word at the end of the word. It doesn't focus on the beginning of a word and neither on the middle of a word, but at the end of a word. Which vowel or which letter, in some cases, needs to be put at the end of a word. Being it ya, noon, alif and noon, and so forth. Being it a vowel, being it removing a noon, and all these things. So this is grammar, and so it looks at a word separately, but also its position between other words, which are defined by the state wherein the word finds itself. So this is grammar. Grammar is very important. Just if we see by changing a fatha or a dhamma, yani it has all different meaning. Like إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء, Allah with the fatha, and those who fear Allah most amongst His servants are the scholars. This is when we say. Okay. This is when we say Allah. If we were to say Allahu, then this would, which is not the case, imply that never that Allah would be fearing, which can't be true. Okay, just by saying Allahu. So this shows the importance of knowing grammar. This is just one example. Another thing is we have morphology, or we have sarf. And sarf looks into how you are going to transform a word into one of its many different forms, so that you can make a difference between the one teaching and the one being taught. And the alim and the muallim and the muallam. You see, muallim, the one teaching, muallam is the one being taught, one that has been taught, and so forth. So you are going to look at this in sarf. And then we have Balagha, and Balagha actually is divided into three categories. But in very brief, Al-Balagha teaches you how to speak and how to be as eloquent as possible. And it is a tool which is needed for everyone who wants to understand the Quran. Like one of my teachers said when he was explaining the Mu'allaqat, and the Mu'allaqat are these famous poems. He said these famous poems were, the Quran was revealed in the midst of people that would write poems that we do not understand. that we don't understand their poems. But nevertheless, they never challenged the Arabic in the Quran. While we think when we read Qul huwa Allahu ahad, we can say everybody can do this. It's easy. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad. Where is the? They didn't challenge it. They didn't make a mockery out of it. They found it to be very special, and this is why they differed. Some said he receives this from the shayateen. Others said he takes this from other books. Others say he's and so forth. Why? Exactly because the language within the Quran is of a very high standard. And the primary miracle within the Quran is the language. Now, this is what a lot of people don't understand. We look for medicine in the Quran, no problem. Astronomy, science, evolution, and I don't mean evolution theory, which I do not believe in, of course. Evolution of the child in a womb and so forth, and in the womb. So this is not the first thing. The real miracle within the Quran is firstly the adl, justice, divine justice through all the Quran, harmony, a lack of contradictions. There are no contradictions in the Quran, and then foremost the language, Quran and Arabiyan, لعلكم تعقلون. Yani an Arabic Quran so that you would use your aql. Now this is not primarily through grammar nor morphology that helps you, but through balagha. The balagha will help you, and this is why my teacher in Arabic and the mu'allaqat when I was doing a master in the Free University of Brussels, he said, and he was a Masri, they are usually very strong in language, not maybe their accent, but their knowledge of language is very strong. And he said, one will not be amazed by the Quran until one is no longer amazed by the mu'allaqat. Huh? When you read the mu'allaqat now, you say Jal Jala, Jul Jala, you say, whoa, what's going on? He said, until this is normalized, this is normal for you, that this is your strength of Arabic, and you then look at the Quran and say, Allahu Akbar, this is from Allah. This cannot be speech of man. This is the word of God. Is that clear? So, and this is the level we need to get to. Of course, this is not for everybody. This is not for everybody. But a talibul ilm, a student of knowledge, which we all are, inshallah, is focusing on these things. We want to grasp the balagha so that we understand what is going on. Like, just to give you one example, and then we carry on. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَجْعَلُونَ أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ, they put their asabi'ahum, fingers, in their ears. Is it possible to put your finger in your ear? The fingertips, that's it, not even entirely, unless you want to, And so it's not possible. So why does Allah say finger? That's an Arabic way of saying something. By mentioning the whole, but intending a part of it, to show up to what degree. Yani, and this is why we shouldn't translate it as they are putting their fingers in their ears. If it would have been possible for them to put their entire fingers in their ear, they would have. You see the difference? So, and now when we just translate it, they put their fingers in the ears. What is this? This is not how the Arabs understood it. Meaning that they tried every single thing. It doesn't even mean literally or only literally that they put their fingers in their ears. It means they were doing anything possible not to hear the revelation or not to hear their Prophet talk to them. Is that clear? So this is why balagha is important. And if we do not look at balagha, we will get these cheap translations. Very cheap translations. And this is problematic. Another example is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah, right? We spoke about that? Yeah, so anyway, so in balagha we are going to discover a new world which will allow us to, inshallah, dive deep into the meanings of the Quran. Okay? So, bi'idhnillah, this is what we are going to do. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this beneficial. Ameen. The mu'allifun, rahimahumullah wa nafa'ana Allah wa iyakum bi'ilmihim, ameen, said, first we talk about al-fasaha. Al-fasaha. How do we sometimes call the Arabic language? Do you speak fusha, right? That's wrong, don't say this. Fusha means most eloquent Arabic, meaning that there is fusha and afsah. when you say عربية فصيحة, it is a description of the Arabic language. So the only Arabic that exists is fasiha. Is that clear? So either there's fasiha or either is darija. That's it. So don't say عربية فصحى, say عربية فصيحة. So الفصاحة في اللغة تنبئ عن البيان والظهور. يعني فصاحة يعني refers to clarity and exposing things. Exactly like grammar, isn't it? نعم. الإعراب is also exposing. أعربت عما في نفسي. I exposed what was within me. نعم. الإعراب. So also الفصاحة means showing, exposing, making clear. And then يقال أفصح الصبي في منطقي إذا بان وظهر كلامه. So you would say in Arabic أفصح الصبي في منطقي. يعني the little boy was clear in the way he expressed himself. So fasaha is expressing. وتقع في الاصطلاح وصفا للكلمة ووصفا للكلام ووصفا للمتكلم. Okay, now you need to be with me. Otherwise we need to start with this before we start with the prophetic soul, because it's in need of concentration. Are we still concentrated? Yes? How much is 10 times 10? Divided by 3?
33.3.
Times 6? خلاص, let's go home. I once had a Chinese boy in my class when I was 8-9 years old. He came straight from China. You would write anything on a board, it wouldn't take him more than 2 seconds and he knew the answer. They have a certain technique, you know, with these things that they do, and it gets to the ajib. You know, I thought he was a wizard. Okay, وتقع في الاصطلاح. يعني and in how do you say الاصطلاح? And in the terms of the science, now the terminology wise, it can be a description, fasaha, of the word, 2 of speech, 3 of the one that talks. So fasaha, you can describe all of these 3 things with fasaha. So we say kalimatun fasiha, a fasih word, or kalamun fasih, kalam which is fasih, or mutakallimun fasih, yani what? An orator who is fasih. Okay. When can we say? We don't have a board, do we? No. When can we say that a kalima is fasiha? Okay, so there have to be conditions before we can say that a word is fasiha, or a kalima, is fasiha. One is salamatuha min tanafur al-huruf. You have learned all this?
No.
Okay.
I know a little bit of Arabic.
Okay. So that the words are free of tanafur. And tanafur means that they are not really very well matched together. And we will explain this. So that's the first one. The second one is وَمُخَالَفَةِ الْقِيَاسِ, that the word doesn't go against the rules of morphology. So kalima is fasiha when the letters within the word are matchable.
Well organized.
No, not well organized. It's about the sounds of the word. Anyway, we will see it. The second one is مُخَالَفَةِ الْقِيَاسِ. It should be free of going against the rules of morphology. And then 3, it should not be kalima ghariba. Kalima ghariba means a word which isn't used very often. So some people say, like, oh, this man, he's really strong in Arabic. I didn't understand a word. Well, that means he's not fasih and that he's not baligh. Baligh means that you transmit your message in a way that people understand. So here, let's look. Tanafur al-huruf means that the letters within the words don't really go together. They're not smooth to pronounce. Like, for example, the example he gives here is, for example, dhash, the word dhash. Do you like the sound of it? Dhash. That's okay, is it? It's heavy, but it's harsh. And then he goes further on here. I'm going to see if he mentions some, otherwise I will mention some myself. Now, the same would be, for example, النقاخ. nuqakh. You see that? Or nuqakh. So even though yani, it's quite alright, but the words are, the letters within the word are, for example, say hu'a khu'a. Say it. Hu'a khu'a. How does it sound? It's Arabic, but you say hu'a khu'a. My daughter says when I say this, it's like Chinese. She said, "We are ready to fight." Hu'a khu'a. So anyway, do you hear what I mean? So the tanafur is not as much as in the word wash. Sometimes it's more present, like in the word hu'a khu'a. And sometimes, like in the word nuqakh, it's not as much as in hu'a khu'a, is it? But when you think about the word nuqakh, right? Do you think about something gentle and beautiful, or do you think about something hard? What do you think of when you say nuqakh? Naam, while it means pure water. And this is why we say there is tanafur. Not reading the letters, because nuqakh is quite alright, but the meaning of it is not in harmony with the structure of, or that which is said is not in harmony with its reality structure-wise. Is that clear? So when you want to make a poem, you're not going to say, Naam, and I saw this nuqakh. You say, what are you saying? You say ma'an azban namira. You know, look at this. Azban namira or nuqakh. You see? So anyway, so what the kalima al-fasiha, the first thing we said is that the letters within it should be easily pronounceable, it should be smooth. So that's the first thing. Then mukhalafatul qiyas, what did we say? By the way, what a dhash, dhash is a place with a hard surface. A hard surface, how do you call something which is very rough?
Course.
Yes, coarse surface. And al-hu' are the plants and things that camels used to eat or still eat. That's hu'. Okay? So this. And nuqakh is yani pure water. Pure water. Okay, mukhalafatul qiyas, if a word goes against the rules of morphology, then we don't say that a word is fasih. Is that clear? So we're not going to say kalimatun fasiha. This is when it's not on the scale of the way that the word needs to be. How do you say this?
So would you mean
Conjugated. Okay? So we have the sha'ir, the poet saying, فَإِنْ يَكُ بَعْضُ النَّاسِ سَيْفًا لِضَوْلَةٍ فَفِي النَّاسِ بُوقَاتٌ لَهَا وَطُبُولُ. In brief, he says here buqat instead of abwaq. You see this? He says buqat. Yani we have the plural of buq is not buqat, it's abwaq. The reason why he says buqat is because like this, the structure within his poem is correct. If he would say abwaq, it wouldn't. But we don't give priority over the structure of a word, but rather to the structure of the share of the poetry. We give priority to the structure of a word, not to the structure of priority, unless the word comes at the end of a poem. But this is not what we are looking at. And this is what we learn in the ilm of qawafi. Qawafi, we learn how to structure poetry in the Arabic language, which I'm very bad at. I'm stronger at nathr, rhymes, than at poetry in Arabic language. I had a scholar, Dr. Abdullah rahimahullah, who was responsible for the Department of Arabic Language at the University of Jordan. And he used to attend my khutab, and he was pleased with my Arabic. He said, is there something you would like to learn at a higher level? I said, yes, the qawafi. I think he taught me twice. And he said, I don't think it's for you. He said, just memorize. And then I started memorizing. But nathr, rhymes, I have no problem. Qawafi, I don't understand it. It just doesn't get into my doesn't get into my head. So you're saying, why am I learning this then with you? So buqat, is that clear? So when he said buqat instead of abwaq. So is it then kalima fasiha? It's no kalima fasiha. Okay. Then the third thing is al-gharaba, that is not very often used or not known by a lot of people. But for example, I would say تكأكأ الرجال تكأكأ. And you say this to the Arabs, they will say, what do you mean? But if I would say اجتمع, do you understand me now? اجتمعوا.
Jam.
نعم. But تكأكأ is the same thing. But it's gharib. The usage of it is not habitual. People don't usually do it. It's not. The same with ifranqa'a. Yes, in franqa'a Umar. You say, okay, franqa'a. What does that mean? You say, يعني انطلق. He left. Why are you saying franqa'a? And this is what some people like to do. Their Arabic is bad, but they want to memorize difficult words. And then they come to a sheikh. Sheikh don't have to know all these difficult words. If they know the words in the Quran and Sunnah, you know, and grammar and sarf, it's okay. So they come to a sheikh and they want to test him and show people like, oh, even the sheikh didn't know the word. You know, franqa. But then when you ask, what are the roots of franqa? Then all of a sudden you have to think. Franqa, faraqa, okay, faraqa. And then you say, okay, and what is the ism fa'il of it? And what is the ism maf'ul and ism tafdeel? And what is, you know, then all of a sudden it gets lost. So using difficult words doesn't mean that you're strong in Arabic. Okay. So ifranqa bima'na also itlakhamma. Nam itlakhamma. Itlakhamma. You know, you say nam itlakhamma al-bardu. Yani ishtadda. Severe. Nam severe cold and so forth. So this is also in brief. So al-fasaha in the Arabic language, from an Arabic linguistic point of view, it means exposing and clarifying and so forth. Then we said in the terminology, we say that al-fasaha is when a word, when speech and the orator are fasih. A word is fasih if one, the letters within the word are easy to pronounce and it's easy going smooth. Two,
Do not go against the rules of morphology.
that it doesn't go against the rules of morphology. And three,
Should be strange.
it shouldn't be strange. And what do we mean by strange?
Something which is understandable by everyone.
Exactly. So, no. Then we have fasahatul kalam. What do you think now in the light of what we said? Fasahatul kalima, kalima which is fasiha, we said that the words should go well together, shouldn't be difficult to pronounce. What do you think when we talk about fasahatul kalam? What do you think now?
Collectively as a speech.
Collectively as a speech, that the word goes well together with the word in front of it or the word after it. Is that clear? So for example, in the shi'r it says في رفع عرش الشرع مثلك يشرع. You hear this? في رفع عرش الشرع مثلك يشرع. So this is too much. This is not fasaha, you know, because everything here is with the ra or the fa and the ain and so forth. So this would be tanafur. The same thing is here. وليس قرب قبر حرب قبر. Do you hear this? وليس قرب قبر حرب قبر. You know, we call this tongue twisters, isn't it? So they are a bit like tongue twisters. So that isn't fasih. Okay? So because there is tanafur. Okay. Do you have any questions about what I have said now?
How do you translate the word tanafur then?
Tanafur. Look it up. Try to do it right now. Yani yanfiru minhu, it means to go away from someone, to flee away from someone. There's tanafur. Yani I wouldn't know how to translate this in English, but you can look it up. You can ask Sheikh Google if you like. I don't mind. Tanafur. Okay, is this clear? So a kalima, kalamun fasih is when the words go well together. Okay. Then another thing is that there shouldn't be any khafa. And khafa means that you are going to structure the words in such a way that someone listening to you gets lost where the khabar is, where the mubtada is, to which word the ha is referring. So it means you are structuring the words in a way that isn't usually done, even if from a grammatical point of view it would be correct. So you need to be clear in your speech. Like for example, I would say, ضرب موسى عيسى. You know, I say, teacher, ضرب موسى عيسى. Who will be he angry with? He will be angry with
Musa.
Musa, because he hit Isa. But from a grammatical point of view, nam, it can also be different. Nam, so if I now want to be a bad man, then I say, يعني ضرب, يعني, you understand what I mean? Because there are no, it's not voweled. But I say, actually, I meant Isa is the one that daraba, but then he's going to say no, because the fi'l should be next to the fa'il and so forth. But anyway, so you are going to structure things in a way that aren't clear to people. And that's not fasaha. Fasaha is being clear. Is that clear? So here he gives examples, but when you have your book, inshallah, I will read these examples once again. So otherwise it's going to become difficult if I read all of this to you. And I should have sent this on, do we say on forehand or by forehand? Before. Nothing. Excuse me? So, okay, khalas. So this. Then we still have one to go, that is fasahatul mutakallim. The eloquence. Fasaha, we can also say eloquence. The eloquence of the mutakallim. The eloquence of the mutakallim is that he uses fasih words and fasih kalam. Is that clear? So that he's able to express himself in the best of ways. Okay. Allah. Okay, that's just, this has to do with al-fasaha. But all of this brings us to balagha. And that's what we're going to talk about. So balagha is one of the ways that will help you to speak or to become fasih. Balagha is a knowledge that will turn you into fasih person, meaning using fasih words and fasih sentences. Is that clear? So the balagha in language is al-wusul wal-intiha. It means getting somewhere, to arriving somewhere. And this is also why we call balagha, yani he became an adult, yani he arrived at an age where he has become an adult, and this is al-bulugh. And we also say, for example, balagha fulanun muradahu, yani this person has reached his goal or her goal. So that's clear. But what is it in the terms of this science? Well, al-balagha is a description of a word, or the speech, and a description of the orator. Okay? Speech and orator. The balagha means actually that you are able to express. This is balagha, so I'm giving it you in a nutshell. Balagha, or being baligh, means that you are able to express your words in such a way that it's understood as you intended. That's balagha. So, if you have a brother which is called Hassan, and I have a brother which is called Hassan, and we interact very often, and I would say Hassan had an accident, who are you talking about? So balagha would be to immediately clarify this. Hassan, your brother, Hassan, my brother, had an accident. Is that clear? So it means that you express or talk so that no one would be in need of further explanation. So that is balaghatul kalam, yani means that you will express it in a way which is understood. You can do this by, one, using the correct words, and two, speaking at the level of those sitting in front of you. And this is what we call mura'at ahwal al-mukhatabin, taking the situation, the intellectual situation, the linguistic strength of those sitting in front of you into consideration. So if do we say in English claustrophobic?
Mm-hmm.
Claustrophobic? We say that, like, is the pronunciation right?
Yeah.
Or do we say claustrophobic?
What's the difference?
I said claustrophobic.
Same.
Same? Okay. So if I would be sitting with children of 5 years old, and I would tell them, yes, and I'm very claustrophobic. They would say, what do you mean, Sheikh? If I would say, I really don't like these tiny little spaces because then I feel like a bit frightened, then they know. So this is also why scholars, very often people don't know which amount of knowledge scholars have, because they talk at the level of those sitting in front of them. But when they sit with scholars, their speech is entirely different. And one of my mashaykh said, if you want to recognize a scholar, then look at someone making difficult things easy. And if you want to know if he's an ignorant person, then he will be making easy things difficult. You know, when you just start studying, you want to impress people when you teach them. So you're going to make the most easy things difficult so that they don't understand. So when they go home, that they have the impression that they sat with Shaykh al-Islam. I didn't understand anything. Me too. Wow, what kind of knowledge? Allahu Akbar, I want to become like him. MashaAllah, you want to become like him? Talk without being understood. Good. And this is why sometimes people, they don't know the level of their scholars. Because why should they talk about something you don't understand, or we don't understand rather? You see? Okay, so this is important. So al-baligh, he will express his thoughts in a way that he's understood clearly, that it can't be understood in another way than he has said it, and two, that he takes the people in front of him into consideration. No? I think this is clear, isn't it? Then two, he also, it is not because words are baligh, no? And words and speech is fasih, that a person is baligh. Okay? Look, Quran is always baligh, right or wrong? Right. I come to reconcile between two people. They want me to reconcile, to get them together. And I say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Allah says in the Quran, At-talaqu marratan. You can divorce twice. You know? So, does this make sense? No. The words are baligh, as baligh as they can be. But the situation wherein I use these baligh words makes me not baligh. The words stay baligh. So it is not because you say the right words that you say them at the right time. Is that clear? So balagha takes into consideration words, no? But also situations. No? For example, someone's just got married, you know, and it's the first day he comes to the mosque and he wants to go home again, you know, because he just got married, you know, they need to get to know one another, and you keep on talking for an hour. Is that balagha? It's not balagha. Or so balagha is observing the room. Yani observing the room in communication techniques. Yani we're going to look at expressions and situations, and only then will we be considered to be baligh. Ya Rabbi. I think this is clear, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. So is that clear for everybody?
So is that similar to having empathy?
It's not only empathy. It really means that you choose the right words in the right situations. For example, somebody just gets married, and you have to deliver, a speech, and all your speech is about divorce. Well, that doesn't sound very right to me, does it? Someone is about to take a plane in his life for the first time, and you start talking about planes that crash. That isn't baligh. No? So you are going to take these things into consideration. So, for example, I will be traveling shortly, and I will be out for a week, inshallah, in the third week of February. So now it's not the time for me to show my wife air crash investigation. Right? So let us have a look at air crash investigation and look at everything which can go wrong. So no, I would rather, show something of everything which goes right. So balagha makes of you a person that acts and speaks and thinks correctly at all times. So this is very important. So, and this is why they say if you speak Arabic correctly, your behavior will change. Because it's connected, speech is connected to behavior and to values and norms. And this is why it's very strange to see that the majority of movies and so forth that come from America, you find that insulting has been normalized. And this is not what people do. Even women or girls amongst themselves, they use a bad word to describe themselves. They just do, and that's normalized. Why? Through movies, through music, and so forth. So this is not baligh. Change the language, they say, and you change the culture. Change the language and you change values. Okay. Do we have any questions about what has been said up to now?
If we are talking to the group of people, obviously we can't communicate to the personal, everybody's personal situation. Then the kalam will be a bit difficult to make it believe for everyone.
Not really. If you don't say anything which can lead to negative things, then you are baligh.
So more toward positive.
So even staying silent can be balagha. Remaining silent, not saying anything, can be baligh. And sometimes it can't. Like sometimes we men, when our wife is a bit angry with us, which can happen, because we make many mistakes as men. And the balagha wouldn't be saying you are right. Yes, you're right. You're just saying this to please me. No, I really mean it. You're right. So even acknowledging that your wife is right might actually not be balagha. You might maybe better say you are wrong, and that will then be like disconnected, thing happening in the brain. Like, I'm wrong, because we are very urged to say you are right. Yes, that's true, because you know that you think in your head that this will calm everything down, but you have been proven wrong since ever. So the balagha would just be to wait it out, not to say you're wrong, neither you're right. Just sit. This sounds very, very poor, isn't it? Like, just sit. Everything will go away.
Or to construct a kalam that allows greater pondering.
Yes, you can. But like one of my mashaykh said, when a woman is angry, don't talk to her brain, talk to her heart. When she's very angry, just go outside, buy a flower, come back and give it. And don't expect that she'll say, oh, thank you, mashallah. No. She'll say, do you really think you're going to get back to me with flowers? This happened. It didn't happen to me, by the way. So I'm not talking about my personal, alhamdulillah, I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thank him for but in general. So then you can give a flower, and do you really think you're going to conquer my heart with flowers? But believe me, inside is, oh, he bought me a flower. But she has to do this, because we very often are very often wrong as men. We consider everything which our wives do as normal, and we look at our own investments and our own work as something which we need to be praised and thanked for. But the effort she does, we take it for granted, while they work 24 and 24. When a man goes working, he comes back. Even if the wife works, he's not going to cook. Up in the sofa, when is the dinner ready? Your wife was working, and even if she was home, she was working as well. So we take our wives for granted, and we shouldn't. Every effort should be thanked. Everything she does. If you in the morning, breakfast is made, your eggs are there. She's not your slave. She's your wife. So even that coffee, within the madhab, she's not obliged to do this. She's not a slave. You don't own her. If she wants, she can leave you as well, right? Khul'a, thank you, bye. So we should be grateful and thankful for all of these efforts. And imagine you yourself doing everything she does at home. If we do the dishes twice in a year, then we will, but I did the dishes. We will you forgot I did it. Or we want her to see. When we clean something in the house, we want her to see it. We want to mention it. Did your wife ever come to you and say, oh, didn't you see? Unless we make the house a bit filthy and so forth. But she doesn't show off with her deeds. A wife doesn't do that. And unless when we fall short, she will mention it. So women are very strong. When men are sick, all the house knows. When we have a bit of fever, we think we're going to die. Fever, boom, on the sofa. Wife has fever, she keeps on cooking and going and coming. When a wife is in her bed because she's sick, you know that she's about to die. When a man is in his bed, it's just being a man. Yeah. So this is why they deliver the children and not us. And if we were the ones to deliver a child, after one child we would stop and the human race would have been gone already. You know. So subhanAllah, they have this pain, and subhanAllah, Allah erases it, takes it away. Yes, a second one, yes. We men, we would run away, leave me alone. One is enough. So subhanAllah, yani, next to every man and in front of every man, not behind, is a strong woman. We men, we are strong through our women. Don't forget this. When our wives don't encourage us when we feel down, when our wives don't inspire us and don't believe in us, we would have been on our knees many, many times. But there they are, always believing us. Even it's like they think us to be the strength of the world. Go, you can do it, come on. They never doubt us. So how strong is that? You know, when we go home today, we really need to thank them. Okay, sentences. Al-khabaru wal-insha, and that's the last thing we're going to see today. Kalam, yani speech can be divided into two categories. Al-khabar wal-insha. And as I said, I'm not going to translate words. I'm going to try to describe them. So all of the kalam is either a khabar or either insha. Khabar is each sentence where one can say of it is true or false. Like if I were to say, Safara Muhammad, Muhammad traveled. Could you say it is true or false? You can. If he's really traveling, it's true. If he's not, then it's false. Same thing, I'm saying it's raining outside. And you go outside, it's not. So al-khabar is every kalam which is subjected to truth or to falsehood or a lie. Al-insha is every sentence of which we can't say it is true or false. Like a command. I'm saying, in the other one I said Muhammadun musafir. Muhammad is traveling. This is khabar. But now I say Safir ya Muhammad. Travel, O Muhammad. Can I say this is false or true? No. Because it's a command. It's an amr. Or if I were to say Asafara Muhammad, is Muhammad traveling? Is my sentence subjected to truth or falsehood? No, it's a question. Why are you lying and asking? It doesn't work. No? So khabar was what? Every sentence which is subjected to truth or falsehood. And al-insha is anything other. Then the khabar, we speak of either yani sidqul khabar or kadhibul khabar. Either the sidq, the truthness of the khabar or the falsehood. And this is connected to if it is true or false. That's all. Okay. Okay. Then also very important, which you need to know as well, is that every sentence from a balagha point of view has two arkan, has two pillars. The musnad ilayhi and the musnad. The musnad ilayhi is something to which something has been attributed. Like the fa'il. The one, how do you say fa'il? Subject?
Doer.
The doer. Okay. Like the fa'il, the doer. What is attributed to the doer? The verb, isn't it? So this is one. Or the mubtada and the khabar. Like al-bustanu jamil. The garden is beautiful. Beauty is attributed to the garden. So the garden is musnad ilayhi. That to which something has been attributed. Okay? So I have the musnad ilayhi, like the fa'il, and like the mubtada. And the first word in a nominative sentence, right? So then like al-bustanu jamil, like Muhammadun kabir. Muhammad is big. Big is being attributed to who? To Muhammad. So Muhammad is musnad ilayhi, the one to which something is attributed. The second one is musnad, meaning that which has been attributed. Like the fi'l. Muhammad talks. What is being attributed? Talking. So talking is musnad. Okay? Is that which is attributed. Okay? So that are the two, yani the two pillars within a sentence. Okay.
So Musnad Ilahi and the other one was
Fail.
No,
just Musnad.
Yeah, musnad. Yeah.
Okay.
What's the musnad? Is that similar as in is that similar root words? The root of musnad, is that similar to the isnad, for instance? Or
Yes, exactly. Yes, the sanad.
Yeah.
Yeah, attributing something to something, and this yes, musnad, musnid, musanid.
In Urdu, there is a word called sanad.
Sanad.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Which is backing you up.
Ah, really? Ah,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, you can say this in Arabic as well. You say yastanidu ilayhi, yani he leans or relies upon him, so he is his strength. Okay. So the khabar, okay. The khabar can either be a jumla fi'liya or a jumla ismiya, meaning a nominative sentence or a, do we say verbal verbal sentence. A nominative sentence meaning a sentence which is constructed out of something without a verb, like that. Yeah? So it can be jumla fi'liya and it can be jumla ismiya. Okay. So give me an example of jumla fi'liya.
Zayd, Daraba Zayd.
Ah, yes, and you shouldn't start with Zayd, right? Okay. So daraba Zaydun. Okay, now if we say daraba Zaydun, where's the musnad and musnad ilay?
So the Musnad is the Daraba.
Daraba is musnad, hitting. Yani Zayd hits or has hit. No? So the hitting is being attributed to Zayd. So hitting is attributed musnad, and Zayd is attributed to musnad ilayhi. Okay? And the jumla, is it khabariya or is it insha'iyya? Is it a khabar or is it an insha'? Khabar, why?
It's either true or false.
Exactly. It's either two. If it is true, then we say sidqu al-khabar. Sidqu al-khabar, meaning the truthfulness of the khabar. All right? That makes sense? Okay. So is it baligh?
Yeah.
It's baligh. Why?
Conforms to the rules of morphology. There's no strange.
First, we're going to talk about the words on their own. Daraba, is it fasih?
Yes.
Why? One,
It's possible because it's got no. It's not strange.
it's not strange. It's well known and used. Two,
Conforms with the rules of morphology.
yes. If I would say dariba Zayd, it will not be fasih because morphology-wise, it's not correct. It should be daraba and not daribu, for example. Okay, so that's two. And three,
It's easy to pronounce.
it's easy to pronounce. Daraba. Okay, so and then Zaydun, same thing. It's just a name. And then as kalam, it is also fasih. Why?
Makes sense.
No, as kalam. Kalam mean the words in. You said it very beautifully.
No tanafur.
Collectively,
Collectively.
Yeah.
they are. There's no tanafur. They are easy to pronounce, and the meaning is clear.
Yeah.
But does that mean that it's baligh?
No.
No.
Because the context.
As a sentence, yes, but maybe the context, no. Yeah. So it depends. If you're standing in front of a king, and his his son's name is Zayd, and he says the one who says that Zayd has hit and did hit someone, I will kill him. And you say daraba Zayd. So it's not. This is not baligh. So it's not. Did you see now how it works? It's not because a word is fasih, because kalam is fasih, that the kalam is also baligh. And you saw what the insha and the khabar is. So now, a sentence with a verb is jumla fi'liya. And the verb comes before the doer. And then we have the jumla ismiya, which would be a sentence where they're like a mubtada and khabar, meaning al-bustanu jamilun, yani the garden is beautiful, sayyaratu sari'a, the car is very fast, and so forth. Muhammadun Rasulullah, and so forth. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Is that clear for everybody? Okay. Do you have any questions?
One quick question. So when we use the word khabar here, does that mean, in general, in Balagha, is the are the definitions different to what we learn in grammar?
Yes, yes. The definition is different. Yes, because here it's about the goal of a sentence, and it's informative. So the khabar, it's informative, which is not the case with the insha, right? Because in the insha it's either a command or a question, which is not informative. Well, if you go into the deeper books of Arabic philosophy, you have fiqh al-lugha and so forth, then they would say no, even a command is informative. You are informing someone that you demand from him or her to do something. And when you ask a question, it's informative. You are informing that you do not know and you would like to be informed. But that goes very far. You have the books of Imam Suyuti and so forth. They go into depth of this. We don't need this now. That's for later. Okay? So, what is the gharad min ilqa al-khabar? What is the reason or the goal behind al-khabar? So we said it's informative. So, he says, وَالْأَصْلُ فِي الْخَبَرِ أَنْ يُلْقَى لِإِفَادَةِ الْمُخَاطَبِ. Yani it's to be of benefit for the one you are talking to. Like I say, حَضَرَ الْأَمِيرُ. The Amir arrived. So it is either informing someone something which he didn't know, or to show him that you know something. Like for example, أنت حضرت أمس. You were present yesterday. Well, I'm not telling him something he didn't know, because he knows that he was there. But I'm informing him that I knew. So it is either to inform someone or to tell someone something he doesn't know, or to tell him that I do know. And so now, showing that, that goes too deep. It's okay. This is enough. Okay. Now we are going to look, and this is the last thing, inshallah, at, are you still alright? Are you sure? Is the lesson clear for you, or is it like wishy-washy? It's good, yeah. You just need to revise this, and with a book in front of you, it will be easier. The problem is I won't find time to create slides and everything. I really...
So the book is in English or Arabic? Yes, but no, that's fine, because then we've got the terminology.
Yes, exactly. And I would like you to print it out. Don't do all the book at once. And then you take a pen with you and also a highlighter. And then you work in the book itself. You write and do. So I would like to do that next time. The other question I wanted to ask is, would you like to have this every Sunday or every fortnight? What is easier for you? Think good, because sometimes you would like to sleep again, Every week, but that would then only be the Arabic every week.
Correct.
And the prophetic soul would be every fortnight. Is that good for you? Okay, so we will do that, inshallah. It can always be that I can't, due to traveling or other commitments. I might be going to Wales in a couple of weeks. So it all depends, but I will always, could we make a group for this? Yeah, for the students that follow here. Inshallah. Okay. So okay, the last thing we're going to see is that the khabar can be divided into three categories: al-khabar al-ibtida'i, al-khabar al-talabi, and al-khabar al-inkari. Okay, so there are three. The khabar can be ibtida'i, the khabar can be talabi, and the khabar can be inkari. All right. So what does this mean? The ibtida'i is that you are saying something to inform someone. So for example, you come late to the class and you say, or you weren't in class, and you come next week and you say, kuntu maridan, I was sick. That is ibtida'i. I didn't ask you something. But if I ask you, so the first one is insha'i. So the first one, is ibtida'i. You hear the word bidaya. I'm the first one to start with it. Kuntu maridan. The second thing is talabi. Is that asked? Where were you? Then when there is a talab, you need to affirm stronger than in al-ibtida'i. So if you're going to answer now, you're not just going to say, I was sick. You are going to emphasize on it. You're going to say, Inni kuntu maridan. Verily, I was sick. And if you see that the one in front of you doesn't really seem to believe you, then you are going to even more strongly affirm it by saying, Wallahi, for example. Wallahi, inni kuntu maridan. Or by repeating the same word twice, which is a tawqeedul lafdi, which is inni kuntu maridan marida. I was sick, very sick. Is that clear? And if you really want to emphasize on it, you say, Wallahi bi rabbil ka'bati uqsimu inni kuntu maridan inni maridtu maradan shadidan wallahu ala dhalika shahid. And these are usually the people that doubt themselves. One of my scholars say the first one to doubt himself is the liar. Okay? So there are different ways to do this. So the tawqeed of the khabar, usually to emphasize the khabar, is through anna, inna. Now, for example, ألا تعلم أني كنت مريضا? Don't you know verily I was sick? Or يعني anna or inna. No? So that is used to emphasize on something. But also the qasam. No? The qasam meaning wallahi, billahi, tallahi, and so forth. Also the noon al-tawqeed, the noon of emphasis and so forth. So I'm going to see if okay. So inna anna, the examples he gives here is wa in kadu la yaftinunak. So in. And the same, the lam. With the lam you can emphasize. You can say Zayd is qa'im, Zayd is standing up. But you can also say for example, La Zaydun qa'im, La Zaydun qa'im. Not La Zaydun, La Zaydun, the lam. This is also to emphasize. Okay? Of inna Zaydan laqadim, or laqa'im. You hear the lam? So the lam to emphasize on it. Then also, okay, the qasam, and we already said this, and also the noon of a tawqeed. For example, I can say la yusjan, he will be imprisoned. La yusjan. But I can also say la yusjanan. You hear? I came with the second one. That's the noon of tawqeed. So to emphasize on things, there are many ways to do this. This is what is being said. Okay.
Noon tawqeed is noon mutashaddad, is it?
Yeah, exactly. But you have noon tawqeed al-mukhaffafa as well.
Yeah.
So you have the mukhaffafa and you have the mushaddada. No. Okay. Also qad. No. When I say qad in front of a verb, for example, I say qadima Zayd. Zayd came. But I can also say qad qadima Zayd. Zayd has certainly, verily arrived. So by saying qad. So all of this, the goal here is just to explain it, not to learn it, so that you know that the khabar or the insha can be emphasized on by using different things. Okay, and the most common ones would be swearing, inna, qad, and so forth. Okay, good. Are there any questions?
Yeah, that was follow your bet in
Inkari, that's the one I said when you see that someone doesn't believe you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you can also emphasize, like the long example I gave. Wallahi inni kuntu bi rabbil ka'ba, and so forth. Khair. For example, la uqsimu. Allah says this very often in the Quran. The la here is not the la nafiya. It's not the la of denying something, or negation, the la of negation,
Yes.
but it is rather the la of a tanbih, the la of drawing attention. It's not the la, I don't. It's actually one of these things one uses to emphasize upon something.
Sheikh,
No.
I was told just imagine because there is no a full stops or comma,
Yeah.
it is la, and then imagine a comma, meaning I'm negate what you have got idea.
This can be, but this is not what. Anyway, it's not the la of negation here. Unless it is referring to a former something, but the problem is then we need to go in the tafsir of connecting the last ayah to a first ayah of a surah. So it is a possibility. Yes, Imam al-Razi refers to many different things, but we, from a Balagha point of view, we are just referring. So don't go to your wife and say لا أقسم أني أحبك. I don't swear that I love you. You know. So don't use this. Say أقسم أني أحبك. Yani I swear that I do love you. Okay. So inshallah, this is it for today. How long have we been going now? 1 hour. Okay, that's good. Alhamdulillah. So inshallah, I hope this was beneficial. Ya Rabbi, Ameen.